Did you know about the Patriot Act? I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. And today we're going to build on the podcast I had earlier in the week about the difference between safety and liberty, or rather the push-pull nature of safety and liberty. And in fact, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper onto a little thing called the Patriot Act. Yes, the Patriot Act. That little document that creates so many problems for all those precious amendments that are supposed to be enshrinements of our rights. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the Bill of Rights, the Patriot Act, and the interaction between the two. Now, this talk is going to be geared towards people who are not as familiar, so it's going to be a little bit more high level, a little less court-based. It's going to be a little less case law. We're not going to talk about things that you need a law degree to understand. We're just going to go with the basics. So the first thing to know, the Bill of Rights. Pop quiz. Is the Bill of Rights is the Bill of Rights designed to protect our rights? Yes, but the important nuance with the Bill of Rights is that they are not rights granted to us by the government. They are merely distillments of rights that exist in nature to human beings. Interesting to think about that. The government is required to respect the rights of the people as enshrined in the Bill of Rights, including that beautiful catch-all right, I believe, and if I'm wrong, correct me, the 10th Amendment, which says that any rights not specifically listed in here that are not rights of government, basically, belong to the people. It's a catch-all. It's used not as often as you might think. But the Patriot Act specifically infringes on two of the rights in the Bill of Rights. The first being the Fourth Amendment. What is the Fourth Amendment? You've heard it before and you've seen it if you've scrolled through Instagram or through Facebook videos for any length of time and seen videos of wackadoos being randomly searched by the cops. It is the right against unreasonable search and seizure. What is a reasonable search? Well, a reasonable search would be if you get pulled over to the side of the road and you reek of the Mary Jane, the marijuana. That can trigger a reasonable search by the police officers. Or a reasonable search might be, hey, we got a call that your license plate is stolen. We can search that car. When can a police officer not search you or your car? When they have no reason to suspect anything is wrong. Now, the courts have stood up time and again and basically put in writing more of the things that do not account for reasonable suspicion. There's a whole bunch of standards in here that we can talk about. Reasonable suspicion, there's other higher standards as well. It's been a while since I've been in my constitutional law class. Forgive me. So if that's your Fourth Amendment right, the right against unreasonable search and seizure, what is the Fifth Amendment? The Fifth Amendment is what everybody kind of has seen in police shows. It's called the Miranda rights. It's not called the Miranda rights. It's popularly known as your Miranda rights. It's basically your right to, if you're accused of a crime, you don't have to say anything. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not already know this, when you are accused of a crime, you don't have to open your mouth. You can just say nothing. You have the right to an attorney. Actually, Miranda rights are what the cops also have to say to you when they arrest you. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, because it will. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be given to you. That's the public defender. Now, there are some nuances to this again. We've talked about nuance before. For example, you have a right to competent counsel. You do not have a right to the counsel of your choice, meaning the government will pay for you to have a lawyer who is deemed competent. When is a lawyer deemed competent? A lawyer is deemed competent when he, she, they, whoever is breathing. That's a competent attorney. So remember that the next time you go to jail, and you may want to spring for the non-public defender. They're dedicated public servants, but they are overworked, overwhelmed, and they may not know your case as well as they need to. Moving on. So the Fourth and Fifth Amendments, these are essentially the rights that involve protecting you from the government unreasonably being able to accuse you of crimes, to search you, to seize your stuff. They protect you. It also includes, according to the courts, the Fourth Amendment essentially also includes a right to privacy, meaning that you have a right to your privacy. You have a right not to have everything you have blasted out to the public. Now, this is where the Patriot Act comes in. Yes, we're back to the Patriot Act now. The Patriot Act, as we've noted before, is a bill that allows the government to essentially seize whatever data about you they want. They can wiretap you based on a suspicion of terrorism. Now, just a suspicion of terrorism. You don't have to be accused of terrorism. It's just a suspicion of terrorism. That's not great. How does that work, though, in today's day and age? We live in the age of big data. Our lives are essentially in the public sphere. But do we have a right to privacy in the public sphere? Facebook, Meta, whatever the parent company is, and other big data companies have been hauled in front of Congress numerous times because Congress essentially believes, and legally it's probably not incorrect, that it has the right to seize that data at any point. And if they get a warrant, of course they can seize it. Warrants are basically magic little things that say like, oh yeah, a judge agrees that you have a reasonable suspicion. But under the Patriot Act, that warrant doesn't come from a normal court. You can't fight it. Warrants you can normally fight. You don't have an opportunity to fight a warrant under the Patriot Act because it is given to the prosecutors or the government agencies or whoever in a secret court. The secret court known as the FISA court, which is just the FISA court. It is the Foreign Intelligence something or other court. And essentially, it's just Chief Justice John Roberts. That's who it is. That's the FISA court. That's who it is. It's gotten much darker here in the last 5 minutes as I've been recording this. I apologize to the people watching the YouTube video. The Patriot Act overreaches. Basically, your TikTok videos, and TikTok has its own set of problems because it's a company based in China. So your information could be caught up in a sweep of information about China. And there's a lot of kids out there right now doing really dumb stuff on the internet. Now, granted, that dumb stuff, it may be tantamount to admitting to a crime, right? If you steal a car on video and prosecutors get that video, they've pretty much got you dead to rights. And if you put it on TikTok, it's very, very easy for a prosecutor to get that and get that admitted in court. But the Patriot Act allows them to do things like based on you stealing a car, they can create a suspicion of terrorism and bug your phone and listen to all your conversations. Now, someone's going to say to me, Nick, most of the things you've talked about are either waived by the fact that social media is sort of a surrender of all your information to the public anyway, or, Nick, what's the odds that I get accused of terrorism? Or, my favorite, Nick, I've done nothing wrong. So why would I care if the government looked into me? Everybody at this point in this broadcast who's probably listening to my podcast, also thank all of you. You've probably all seen Harry Potter. I'm sure you were all outraged when Dolores Umbridge said, "If you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear." That is repulsive to us in the modern world, as it should be. Even if you can't think of why that would be repulsive to us under the Bill of Rights, you know it is repulsive that she essentially said, no, I'm allowed to search you and it's fine if you have nothing to hide. So who cares if I toss your shit? Who cares if I go through all your stuff? Who cares? You've got nothing to hide. It's okay. No. The Bill of Rights is very specific. It's not, if you have nothing to hide, then you have nothing to fear. It's, government doesn't have the right to search me without proving that there is a reasonable suspicion of mine having committed a crime. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the Patriot Act essentially circumvents the Bill of Rights in the guise of protecting society. It's a gross overstep of rights. Honestly, so is social media, but here I am using it to advertise, so what the flip do I know? You like what I say? Like and subscribe. If you don't, well, not much I can do about it. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.